Good. All right. We are rolling with I accidentally deleted the app.
Oh no.
I had to re-up recorder. Laura Palmer is Dead, a Twin Peaks podcast. The Return, parts 7 and 8. Really different episodes. Very, very different in tone, in look, and feel. Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to just get first impressions of everyone all around on 7 and 8.
I loved 7. Loved it. It was my favorite.
7 was amazing.
Yeah. 8 was kind of...
And then 8 was kind of... You have something weird on your face. Sorry,
I like to set a tone of paranoia right away. Yeah, 7
gave me everything I wanted in terms of Twin Peaksiness.
Nostalgic Twin Peaks almost, but with
it was a little
new characters and with new, direction and arc and like just some of the best acting.
And
Laura Dern just blowing up the place as Diane. Amazing. Just big relationship moments.
Starts with Jerry in the woods.
Big story moments. And then 8 just slows everything down and takes it all back. And it's this really cerebral, like, transcendental David Lynch.
Yeah. It's like an art, it's like a student film, or experimental. It's an experimental film for the most part. Like, there's 10 minutes where you're just sort of flying through a cloud of...
It's Mushroom Cloud, though.
When they make fun of German art films, this is what I picture. Like, you know when they always are like, the Germans. Like, there was a Saturday Night skit where it was like... They were,
Dieter.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's what
it's like episode 7 was Twin Peaks the pilot. And episode 8 was like Fire Walk with Me. Like, they're both Lynch, but the tones just could not be more dramatically different. Yeah. And... I know it's going to be a real polarizing 2 episodes for people.
Because it's like, here's everything that you wanted, guys, in part 7.
Yeah.
Part 8, where Lynch is like, fuck you, now I'm going to do my thing for a while. Where it's like, here's eggs with people's faces in it.
Yeah. So, let's start with 7. Let's go back. We start right away. Pat, you were talking about Jerry lost in the woods, paranoid.
Yeah.
There's some great, Ben has some great scenes. I'm really like pleasantly surprised at their use of Ben. I didn't think he'd be a major character in The Return, and he's had a really cool story. In this first scene with Jerry, it's just a different Ben. Like, he's much more muted and sad and kind of down.
Yeah, this episode's a lot of Ben.
Yeah,
compared
the scenes
to
with him and Beverly.
Episode, it was just like,
are really good because, he's really being restrained and not hitting on her and not being inappropriate in any way, but there's this, like, true chemistry between them. And it's just, like, when she does eventually leave or he tells her to go, there's this real sadness that he has. He's so alone. And I'm really starting to feel more and more, maybe just because I want to see it there, but they are trying to show us that there is this like hole in Ben's life, and maybe that's Audrey. Maybe this missing, because we are having to ask ourselves at this point, really, this episode 7 is also the first mention of Audrey.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Or maybe the hole is Laura Palmer, who he was
true.
In love with.
You're right. True.
Everyone was
it could be
in love with Laura Palmer, though.
But, like, it is a different Ben, right? Like, he's just way more...
Yeah. I mean, after
Subdued.
After you get to a certain age, I feel like you stop with you pull back on your career.
Yeah.
But he wants to act on it, though.
But she wants to act on it. Like, she's being kind of the aggressor, and he's...
Yeah, I thought so. And, yeah, she's got a sick husband, Tom, I assume a husband at home.
Oh, yeah.
The scene with Ben and Beverly, like, in his office with the tone in the wall, that was just a really sweet scene. Like, it was just quiet and
There's
intimate.
A hum. Who could it be? What's that hum?
Could it be
Josie in the woods?
And then he has that great line about Laura Palmer, she's like, who's Laura Palmer? And
That's a long story.
yeah, that's a
or
long
something like
story.
that, yeah.
It's just a sweet,
And
and that
episode 7?
yeah,
7,
Oh,
yes.
weird.
yeah. I'm jumping around a little bit, but like I think there's 3 Ben scenes in 7, and they have kind of that frame of like the story being this kind of sadness and distance that he's alone, and and it's those kind of like little like slices of character and relationship that are interspersed with really big plot stuff in 7. We get a lot of information. Finally they're like driving things forward. We have Frank and Hawk with the pages of the diary.
3 missing pages they find. One is still missing.
Right, so we have 1 page still missing.
It's kind of a extemporaneous, or what's that? Explainy scene.
Yeah, exposition.
Exposition.
Yeah,
That's it.
but it's important stuff that we need to know, and it's the scene from Fire Walk with Me, with the dream that Laura has, and Annie is in bed with her.
That's true. Yeah.
And says,
Not everyone's
I've
gonna
been
see
with
it.
Dale and Laura. The good Dale is in the lodge, and he can't leave. Write it in your diary. So that's like a big
And then
piece
Hawk
of
is like,
information.
so if the good Cooper is in the lodge, then
And let's just go back to what we've been saying. Hawk, the only one that doesn't
Yes,
have police
I
work.
put Bingo Hawk. Yeah, because he's like, finally, he's like, well, wait a second.
and that
So
Cooper is
yeah.
not the good Cooper.
he's the first person to actually be like, so the guy who we've all been interacting with, maybe not a good guy.
Because then we find out that Cooper has left on the day like that. Basically, Twin Peaks ends where we see him as Bob in the mirror,
Right.
and then
Oh, it's the 4th of July, by the way, listeners. If you hear some...
You might hear some.
Yeah, I think of
Explosions.
nothing more American than talking about Twin Peaks. Sorry, continue, Melissa.
no worries. And then so we know that Coop left that day, and the only other person that might have seen him was Doc Hayward, because he was going to the ICU to see Audrey,
Right.
which
Who
is
was
the
in
only,
a coma.
who's in
Yes.
a coma.
And that's all we hear about her. She
And we
was
do-
in a coma.
So we do get
So what
a
happened to
great,
Oh, yeah.
several great things in this scene. So first of all, the Skype with Doc. Like, I love that Frank, his computer's like hidden under his desk because he wants to like hide from like Lucy and Andy and the like
Oh, that's
sheriff's
why.
department.
Yeah,
But he has like
okay.
real technology. And just sweet to see Doc Hayward Skyping. The whole scene is really good. Like it's interspersing talk of serious stuff with things like the breakfast,
Yeah.
and they're just talking about their grandkids and stuff.
Can I also chime in that though his monitor pops up from his desk, he still types like an old person. Which
Yeah.
is
One finger.
just the 2-finger typing of trying to get his handle for Skype.
Yeah. It's so, and you really get the sense that these are old friends, Frank and the Doc. So it's a really nice setup of that relationship. And then, so we do learn that Audrey was in a coma, and that they brought
Dale was
Coop-
in there, was hanging
Yeah,
around.
so it
the
sounds like the
ICU,
Doc like
so.
brought Coop there on his rounds to get him checked out.
Well, he obviously brought him there because he had smashed his head into
Right.
the mirror. So
So he
that's
said we brought him there to get him checked out,
Yeah.
and then we saw him leaving intensive care fully dressed.
fully dressed, yeah.
And he turned and looked at me, and it was
And there
a
was
strange
that,
look.
yes, there was a strange face. He said,
And
a
then
strange
that was
face,
when
yeah.
Frank said, "Who could he have been seeing in intensive care?" And he said, "Audrey Horne was there.
Yeah.
She was in a coma, so we know she's not still in a coma. She
So-
could be dead."
So she's either dead or she's
Right.
alive.
So I pose to you the following theory.
Those
Okay.
are
That's our bases covered right there.
Yep.
50-50.
Yeah, I guess so. We're still back to her. She's alive, though. Come on.
I
So
mean, she's
finally-
been in some promotional scenes, so we assume.
Finally, we can talk about Spawn, evil Richard theory. If I haven't outright said it before, I have a theory that Richard Horne is the child of Audrey and Evil Cooper, and that Evil Cooper went on a rapey binge. Literally went to ICU, raped Audrey, got her pregnant, and then went and raped Diane and got her pregnant too. And that's my other theory.
Because of how, like, Diane acted.
But yeah, I mean, But do we know she has a kid? From
No,
that
but
time?
here's
we don't.
what I think
okay.
is going on.
Speculation.
Okay,
No,
big
this
theory,
is a
guys.
theory.
This is something that Kelly's really
Dun,
been
dun,
building
dun.
on.
I've been really excited to share this theory. At the very beginning of the return, the giant says, "Remember 4:30, Richard and Linda." I think Richard is Richard Horn, and Linda then is Diane's daughter, Linda, that we're going to find out about. And the
Yeah.
giant is telling Cooper to remember the children that evil Coop has spawned in your absence. You heard it here first, listeners. That's evil
No.
Coop spawn theory.
I'm a little skeptical on that.
Who's Richard Horn again? Like
Rapey guy.
rapey. Oh yeah, okay.
The
rapey.
guy who, yeah.
Okay, we could at least say there's a
And now
strong
he's
possibility that
Child
that's
killer guy.
Audrey
Child killer,
and
yeah.
Evil Coop's kid. Like, I think
There's-
the Richard Horn is not such a far-fetched
Which going
theory.
back to the
No.
going back to the Richard Horn, Andy finds the truck that he was driving in some guy's yard.
Who's all skittish and
Who's
was
all
like,
skittish
Right.
and is like, Andy, meet me at this spot at 4:30.
At 4:30.
And Andy, like, what cop would not be like, okay,
on
no,
Route
I'm
21.
I'm like that because that's the truck that he knows is just involved in a murder, right?
Yes.
And the guy's being all crazy and shady, and
I
he's
know.
like, "Come back later," but not. And yeah, like a cop's really just gonna be like, even an Andy, I feel like could be a better cop. To be like, "No, we're gonna talk about this now, and like maybe I need to see you in your house because you're acting crazy." And also, oh yeah, this truck just killed a little boy. So
yeah, it's suspicious behavior from Andy.
I'm gonna arrest you, and then we'll figure all this out.
And there
Yeah.
could be a completely reasonable reason behind it, like, but I do think they're having Andy act strange, and that's not.
Yeah.
That's on purpose. That's a weird move by Andy. Like, it's a weird, maybe, like,
Well-
not that he has malevolent reasons for doing it, but it's just a weird move. I agree.
No, I feel like Andy knew something was up and like the guy wasn't saying stuff because of something, and he's like, okay, well, just, all right, now you gotta meet me. And then
Right.
I was hoping in episode 8 maybe Andy would go back to that house and we
Right.
would find out,
Yeah.
but Lynch was
No.
like, fuck you, Melissa.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's like
watch
he
this
was
so
bomb
many
scene for 8
answers that we
minutes.
don't get. Yeah. I know. I don't
Sorry,
know.
I'm gonna bring that up a lot.
Was he being the
Yeah.
the naive Andy or just
Or maybe
the-
he was sensing like
knew
danger
that-
that this
Yeah.
guy was in danger and he
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
to like
That's what
leave.
I think.
That's I think
That
so
could be-
too. I think
But
so.
he was
Could
left
too.
waiting. But
Right.
it is poor police work, though.
But it is interesting that the time he picks to meet him is 4:30, which is number theory.
Yes.
Route
yes.
21, which, if you add those together, is a 3.
But this is amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
We get a
Threes
lot.
are really big.
Threes are huge in this one.
3s and 9s and
Because
6s.
threes is
Three
the
dog
one is
legs
the
went
portal.
missing. Or
Yep.
went out with information.
Yeah. Oh my God. So much stuff.
There's so much.
I wanted to ask, you think there was actually like a dog that he cut up? Like,
I guess there
I think so
was.
because I think the dog is
I
Mr.
thought it was like
Strawberry.
a metaphor for something, but
No,
The dog is
because they
Mr.
found a dog
Strawberry.
leg in his
Yeah.
trunk,
I
remember?
don't remember that.
He's
And
such a
then, what's
did.
the guy?
Mr. Strawberry.
No. Who's the...
The warden?
other-
Gordon Murphy,
No.
Ray,
Ray
No.
Monroe.
the other
Yeah.
guy in jail with him?
No, Gordon. And
Albert.
Albert was like, oh, where's the cheese and
Oh,
crackers?
yeah,
because
yeah.
it was like, here's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Right.
machine
The
gun
one-
and a dog's leg and
Yeah.
like a beer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, much like Gordon Cole, Evil Coop does the same, like, really unnecessarily complicated ways of, like, telling something. Like, being like, there's one dog leg in my trunk, the other 3 went out with information. I'm like, what? This is so confusing, Coop. It's the same as when Cole does the thing with, like, the fingers with Tammy, and he's like, I'm very happy to see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's the ring finger of the. I'm like, Cole, where are you getting any of this? Like,
Yeah,
both of you
I'm-
need to just be a
I'm
little
very,
bit more
very happy to see you
linear
again, old friend.
with your clues. Like, there's no reason
Right.
for such crypticness.
Because I just like that, I call him Tan Coop, is all like, the dog had 4 legs
Right.
at the beginning.
And
I have
was-
1, 3 went out
Was
with...
the Nine Inch Nails performance in 7 or 8?
That was 8.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, and I still am of their older stuff, but like, among other things I skipped through in this episode, like several minutes of bomb flying through, I skipped that performance because like, I liked Nine Inch Nails when they like had melodies in
Yeah.
their songs. I'm
Yeah,
a big
it was
sucker for
very-
melodies.
There are some good lyrics in that song though that
Yeah.
tie, but yes, agreed. It was like, where did it come from? But before we
It was
get to
great.
8 and the madness that is, there's so much plot in 7.
Yeah, we need to discuss a little bit.
So we find out finally about the body. I feel like I keep thinking that we've covered this, but this is actually where this comes out. So
We might, this confirms it.
yeah,
Yes.
Lieutenant
We kind of
Knox,
assumed.
Bizarro Scully, comes to Buckhorn Police, and she is like, "Okay, where are the prints?" And they're like, "With the body." So she
Right in the back.
this 16 other times that they've gotten a lead on
His
Major
fingerprints.
Briggs,
Yeah.
it's been just fingerprints. This time it's a body, but of course the body is in its late 40s and died within the last 5 or 6 days, whereas Major Briggs would have been in his 70s and or dead for a very long time.
Yeah.
So she calls it in to Colonel Davis, aka Ray from Ghostbusters.
AKA
Yes.
Ernie.
Ernie.
Hudson.
Sorry. So we get some more information, but
He's,
Well, and during that
Zedmore.
Winston Zedmore.
Winston Zedmore in the Ghostbusters.
oh,
Ernie Hudson in real life.
Oh.
whatever.
Who would
Close
know his
enough.
real life name?
like,
He's the guy from Ghostbusters.
I'm literally remembering
Everyone knows
so
Ernie
many
Hudson
names right
from
now.
real
Like if
life.
I learn one more name, I'm gonna forget my own name.
Oh.
Well, and I would like to call out in that scene to like Faux Scully's all like, you're not going to be handling this investigation much longer. But then
Yeah.
creepy guy in black is just like
Coal
creeping in the
miner.
back.
Oh,
Zombie
that's
coal
right.
miner
Zombie
comes
coal
by, yeah.
miner makes an
Zombie?
appearance.
It is a zombie
We
coal
don't know.
miner.
Or is
walks
it a
past-
Dugpa?
Oh yeah, right.
Well, yeah, that we're gonna call them zombie coal miners.
So this
It
is
could they could be Dugpas. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't know. But
listeners. We're talking about the first occurrence of this was in the prison when oh my God, what's his name from Scream was there.
Matthew
like,
Lillard.
Matthew
I don't know his
Lillard's
character's
characters.
name.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
there, and there was
Yeah, they
wasn't
haven't
that
gone
the
back to
same
him.
Dugpa coal miner?
I mean,
yeah.
it might as well be. I mean, who cares?
Because
we
it was
can't
that
tell,
weird scene
you know?
where it was like, oh, we're gonna just shoot all the cells, and then it was
Right.
like, here's this
Yes.
homeless. There's a homeless
And he
guy, but then he
just
disappeared.
disappears.
And it's in the
goes
same
into
way that the Dugpa zombie
God
coal
damn it, we're gonna have to
miners
rewatch
of
all
8.
of this.
Oh,
Where
absolutely.
did we hear Doug for the first time?
That is in Fire Walk with Me, and Dugpas are like what Bob
The corn
is.
thing.
They're
Okay.
like
And
Right.
Mike.
evil,
Mike is
like,
also a Dugpa.
They're
Right.
as how's it's Wyndham
The
Earle
one-
who explains
one-armed
it.
man is
Wyndham
also a
Earle's
Dugpa.
like they find evil for evil's sake. Actually, the Dugpas, like he's explaining in that scientific video. Wow, got to channel some old Twin Peaks and it felt good.
Get some Winston.
Some Wyndham Earle
Wyndham Earle.
fact. Because everyone's been mixing
You love
Wyndham Earle. But you know what? We could use his brand of very clear explanations right about now.
Right, where he just tells us
You
everything.
see,
he's
there's a
doing.
lodge, a white lodge, and a
Yes.
black lodge, and
If someone would just tell me what the homeless
Right.
the zombie coal miners are doing.
I know I've
that
got
would
so
be-
many different names for them. It's so to Melissa's point though, it was incredibly creepy when
Yeah.
they had Lieutenant Knox just like doing her business and this guy's just walking through the hospital very creepily.
yes.
Independence. God bless America. We do get a painting in Gordon Cole's office with the atomic bomb, so
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Slash,
Mushroom cloud. Yeah.
I
Not to mention, there's Harry S. Truman from the original series.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
the president
We
who
dropped the
ordered.
bomb,
Yeah. So they like that.
Lynch has a
He's
weird.
got a thing.
weird-
Yeah.
He's got a thing for that atomic bomb.
But I do love a very cool character moment between Albert and Gordon that's just like very smart and shows a lot of like layered stuff is when they're convincing about going back to Diane and Albert goes, "Say please." Gordon goes, "What?" And Albert goes, "You heard me."
You heard me.
Gordon goes, "Please." And it was like great that Albert called Gordon out, and then Gordon had to say, like, it just was a perfect little relationship moment between the two
Then
of
they
them.
go to see Diane.
Yeah, just love the two of them together, and it makes it so sad that Miguel Ferrer is dead.
Yeah, he's so
like
good.
he's just great.
Is
Yeah.
Diane a hooker?
I think they're saying that she just is like seeing like
Promiscuous-y?
like a young. She's a social climbing like.
Because of that guy that was in her place.
Yeah.
He's like a young.
But he
gigolo.
seemed like he.
There was
had
a
a business
spider on my
trip.
page.
Transaction?
Do you think it was a?
I
I thought he was just like either a boyfriend or a fling or something.
She's a
like
cougar.
Yeah.
She's a hardened, worldly. Her life with Cooper and Cole has.
Yeah.
I just
Spider
sent it
on
right over to you.
So now it's going to
She
Pat.
did have a young. He was a young hunk.
Yeah,
She had
she's
hunk in
she's a cougar.
there.
But it's a good like. I think Diane is extremely well costumed and played, and
Yeah,
everything that they give
yeah.
her, everything she does is so deliberate and meaningful, and it's like not a moment wasted. Just Laura Dern is perfect to be in this role.
Was it not great that she said, "Fuck you, Tammy"?
Yes, I noted it.
Everyone was probably so thrilled about that.
Like, thank you.
Yes, that's what we were waiting for.
Yeah, just even the fact that
Because I
Tammy,
even put, when Tammy first comes on, I was like, Tammy, I roll.
right, they almost like
we really
know
appreciate
that
your help. Fuck
They're
you,
like-
Tammy.
yeah, they know that we hate Tammy because even when she's on the plane, like she sort of pops out where you're like almost hoping that she wasn't on the plane. You're like, damn it, they
so
brought
many,
Tammy.
so many viewings have people are just booing. Like when
know.
she turned, like is she there on that plane? And then she turns.
And then, of course, she's so
Boo.
insensitive, just the way that she's discussing Cooper with them, like all
yeah.
scientifically right in front of Diane, who's
Wait,
like,
so the spiritual finger is the fingerprint that was backwards.
Yeah.
right, the
ring
Uriah.
finger?
Yeah.
And the thing that doesn't make sense is like she's like asking about the fingerprints and they already know about it and they're
Right.
like, "Great job, Tammy!"
Way to
Like,
figure
but you
some-
guys already knew about it. Like she didn't
Yeah,
really.
it's like,
And then why
do
did we also
anything.
pull out the picture of Tan Coop and Rio being like...
I don't know what that picture was. Hysterical.
that was the only known picture they said, right?
Yeah.
It was
I
like,
mean, I guess like we have like gone to... Is Rio in
it was
Buenos
like a
Aires?
Marlboro.
Yeah.
Like-
That's where the device was. It was
Yeah.
in Rio de Janeiro, I think.
It was in
Or
Argentina.
Buenos Aires.
Argentina.
Yeah.
No,
But
Argentina.
that was the
Buenos-
most.
That's Buenos Aires.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the
Not
most
as-
that's
photoshopped
specific.
picture.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a Marlboro Lights ad that just had like Kyle MacLachlan's face superimposed in it with this like white, like Casa Via and like pool.
Palace,
and
palatial.
just, oh God,
yeah,
I love
pool,
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but let's get to the good scene here with Diane and Coop. Going for it. Prison.
Yeah.
So Diane does agree to go and meet Coop, but she wants it to be alone. And she controls how long they see each other. And this scene is just like incredibly packed with emotion on, I mean, Laura Dern's and
Yeah, Coop.
Yeah, Coop
Evil
doesn't have a lot of
No.
emotion.
Evil Coop is like.
and that's what's so scary about it. Like it's just vacant and
Yeah.
like
Can I just
missing.
talk about, side note, about how the actor does such a good job. Why am I blanking on stuff? I've had a lot
Which
of
actor?
sparkling wine.
It's okay.
Coops.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan is just a really good actor in that you get the feelings for evil Coop with Dougie, like
Yes.
and then
It's so
Mayor of
clear.
Portlandia, like
And original Coop.
Yeah,
and the mayor.
He speaks so little, and yet if you like showed stills of just his eyes, you'd know which one was Dougie and
That's
which one was
true.
Evil Coop. Like it's so awesome.
And her question, like, do you remember the last time
Right, so it's a really just
you saw me? And he was like, at your house.
yeah.
Like, so.
and then she's like, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, he says,
are
I'll
you?
always remember that night. And she
Yeah.
says, same for me. And then she says, look at me. And so this is where we
Who are you?
determine
Yes.
that Coop raped
really?
Diane.
That's what I have.
Yeah, so that's where I mean, like,
Yeah, that I got. But
he clearly
Got that one.
went on a bit of a rape and pillage tour, which, like, not to make light of it, which I just did, and that's not cool, but yeah, I mean, he, like, potentially raped Audrey in the ICU
Sounds like
and then
it.
went and raped Diane.
Yeah.
I mean, the raping of Diane is pretty solidified in her reaction.
Yes, that is definitely
The Audrey
that's
is still
less clear.
very,
less clear.
very theorized.
Theory.
High up.
The Diane
right.
is like certain. It's
Yeah.
certain, and she does an amazing job. And like, this was actually for me the first time that I think I really cried at Twin Peaks, because watching Laura Dern's reaction to not seeing the Kyle MacLachlan that we love, that Special Agent Dale Cooper that we want to see so badly, that we're missing so much. It was like, I just felt this overwhelming missing of
Right.
Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Because she's like, it isn't the passing of time, it's something missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then points to her chest.
Yeah. And then I love how Cole is just like, that's good enough for me, Diane. He's always so supportive of his people. Like, Cole is such a good boss. He's such a good friend. Like, that was just a great...
and yeah,
Great
and he's
scene.
like, what happened? Didn't he say like what happened that night or something?
Yeah, he
And
says
she's
like, do I need to know? Is there anything I need to know
Yeah.
about?
She's like,
And
we
she
will
said
have a
we will
talk.
have a
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she downs a shot of vodka, and she's like, cheers to the FBI.
It just so, I mean, like, and it's sad on so many levels. Like, we know Diane and Coop's relationship through him, and the idea of like this person that she loves, and I think that there was this like she was in love with him unrequitedly thing, and you know, this kind, wonderful Special Agent Dale Cooper, and then that he would like come to her house and rape her, like,
Right.
and then and disappear, and how much that would fuck with her, and you know, so there's the sadness of that, and then just the sadness again of like missing our Coop and like not
Because
seeing him.
everyone does.
I know.
Except Tammy, who's the worst actress.
Tammy.
Because her trying to be annoyed is really fucking annoying. Like,
Yeah,
it's
she
really
just
annoying.
doesn't- I'm like-
yeah. It's like,
So big.
right now, pretend to be annoyed. And it's like, alright, thanks, Tammy.
Yeah, and it's
We get
weird
it.
too
We
how
get it.
she like almost has the least empathy for Diane, where she should, if anything, she should be the woman who's there, who's like,
Right.
okay, like, I'm here to be your woman and have empathy for you in this
Right.
really intense situation. And she's like the last person that if I were Diane, would want to spend any time with. Like,
Right.
it's really hard to like Tammy. Like, it just is. I'm sorry. Ugh.
I'm really curious about how many of these fireworks are going to be on our recording.
Maybe not.
Maybe don't podcast on 4th of July in the future.
Mental note.
Whatever. That's like...
Fun fact, fireworks not
Season.
legal in this city or state.
That's
I think
true.
it's
Doesn't stop anybody.
crazy
No.
that a spider's been crawling over my
Yeah.
notes this whole time. Like,
I found 3 different spiders in my parents' house this weekend.
Oh, 4. I found one in the basement, too.
Oh yeah.
Spiders.
Yeah.
are
Different species.
different. Yeah, different kinds.
You should start collecting.
I should.
we already talked about the warden.
So basically, but we didn't really
not really,
mention
Oh, yeah.
how. So
we
basically,
need to speak about a strawberry.
Oh, yeah.
Evil
Strawberry.
Coop like gets a meeting, and then we talked about the dog legs and how
Yeah.
he sent a bunch of people dog legs with information of Joe
And
McCluskey.
Joe McCluskey,
Which
yes.
feels
so this is
overly
why
engineered, Coop. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to send dog legs with things.
And it's like,
You could
how,
just send a letter
how-
or
you
an
must
email.
have like, obviously, like, you know, the warden killed some guy, or else, you know, because, you know, we talk about the guy not being with us, and, but even if you have,
Yeah.
like,
It's like none of this.
you're gonna lose your job for letting a fucking prisoner, 2 prisoners out. Like, I don't know how. The FBI specifically was like, "Don't let those guys go." Like, you're gonna get in almost as much trouble as
Right, especially if the FBI is like
Yeah.
watching this guy and they're like, "This is one of our own." So
Like,
like,
it specifically said, "Don't let this guy go."
Right,
this
and
is true, but which tells you how dangerous
yeah.
So, I mean, we
obviously.
know-
the situation he's in.
So I want
Somebody's gonna come to kill him, though, if he doesn't do what Evil Coop says, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that he was that his life was in danger. Just
Oh
that, like,
yeah, come on, yeah.
Well, because
His
Coop
life-
does say,
yeah,
like, I'm not
for-
after you.
Yeah,
I
but
just
if
wanna,
something
like,
were to
yeah,
happen
like,
to me, there's
charge-
a couple people who are
Yeah.
gonna come by, and they're not gonna be.
But
too
that's the
happy.
funny thing is, like, he's like, well, nothing's gonna happen to you, but we're gonna keep you incarcerated. Like, there's a middle ground here where, like, everything works out fine. I agree that Murphy he's being threatened,
Yeah.
but he is
He
definitely
acquiesces
between a
big
rock and a
time.
hard place.
Yeah.
So basically, Evil Coop asked for a car for him and Ray Monroe
And at least one other guard is in on this because you see another
Yeah.
guard. It's
with a
like
gun in the trunk.
that seems even less likely to me.
Yeah, because he says, I need a friend in the glove compartment, which we're like, oh, okay, he wants a gun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Ray Monroe was in the same prison
Wouldn't it
as...
be great if you open the glove compartment? There's like a little kitten in there. My friend,
He's like,
thanks, Warren.
God damn it, Gordon Murphy. You're so stupid. It just becomes a buddy show about them, like...
Bad Coop and the kid.
Oh my god, I
He has
love
a
that.
motorcycle and a sidecar it rides in.
He would look so great with a little kid.
Oh.
Yeah, a little black cat.
Oh, great.
Like It's Always Sunny, where they find the garbage cat.
Yeah.
Aw.
Again, watch
Oh
it
my
This
later.
episode, The
So
Night Man
good.
Cometh. With special guest star, Billy D. Williams.
Oh boy. Oh
Bad Coop
boy,
and
oh
the
boy. So then we get Lucky 7 Insurance with Dougie and Tony is just standing there like
Oh, can
sort
we
of,
just mention though when Ray passes Evil
yeah.
Coop, it's kind of like in the red
Oh, you're
room.
right. Yeah,
Oh.
share
He
that.
like
That's really
walks
smart.
up to when they're both being released. Ray walks up to Evil Coop and chuckles, just like the doppelganger Coop did to Leland
Yeah.
when they were in the red room.
Yeah, that was a
And
really
it's
good call.
it's a long haul, just like in the red room, where when they
and their footsteps
go
are
from-
kind of echoing
yeah.
similarly.
Huh.
So that was kind of cool.
Don't
a
think I
little
caught
parallel.
that.
No, I
there.
didn't either, Pat. You totally got that. 100%. Yeah, and that actor who plays Ray is, I think, very well cast because
Yeah,
he's
he's
just
good.
so strange.
Right.
And he
And we don't know if Ray's like part of the whole universe that,
right.
or if he's just like a degenerate. That's
We know
like,
he knows something about Bob because the last scene when he's driving
Yes.
away in episode 8, he's
he
like,
talks about it.
I saw something in Evil Coop, and that could be the key to everything.
Yeah, I have a
Oh,
note about
yeah.
that. We'll
So
double
we
that.
can we can go back to that, but he's definitely.
I think it is in this episode where Ray and they're driving and Ray's like, I hope you're not sore at me and it's like, oh Ray, you're
No,
so
I
dead.
think that was like, yeah, that was the beginning of the other one because
Right. Oh, okay.
we live
Yes.
tweeted
and
episode
Melissa
8,
had
and I
messages.
really thought Ray was gonna die.
Yeah,
I
and
really
they
thought.
set you up that way,
Yeah,
big time.
And
So
then
what
Ray
else
knew
do we
he
have
was
in this
Ray
one?
knew he was in
Ray tricked Bad Coop, which seems
Yeah.
like
twist.
you never expect
I
anyone's going to
know.
get the drop on old Bad Coop.
No,
Right.
I know. So the only other things we have in 7.
7.
Oh wait, we
Dougie?
actually get
Dougie, the whole Dougie scene. Yeah.
So Dougie
Oh,
at
yeah.
Lucky 7 with Tony, who's just like kind of threatening him in the
Yeah.
office. And Dougie's drawing more pictures. The police come. All the police are brothers named Fusco, which is pretty
Oh.
great, which is helpful for remembering their names.
Yeah,
Huh.
3 brothers
It's
named
like,
Fusco.
this is Detective
Well, their
Fusco's.
last name is Fusco.
And he it's like plural, and then the way Fire Stick did, sure enough, like all of them are named Detective Fusco. Like,
I just like that one of the guys was on Anchorman. You know,
yes,
that
Oh,
one
yeah.
actor.
Rob Corddry. Was
Yeah.
it Rob Corddry?
It's
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Rob Corddry.
no,
The
it's
bald
not
guy.
Rob. No, that's not Rob Corddry.
Oh, okay.
Boop, boop, boop.
Ba-doop,
It's the other,
boop,
yeah,
boop, boop, boop.
yeah, it's not
It's
Rob
Greg.
Ford.
Greg something. He
But
was
for
on
once,
SNL, but
David Lynch threw us a bone with just being like, you know what? Just name them all Detective Fusco, so I don't have to like worry
and
about.
they were. He obviously got comedians for that role too, because
Yeah.
Oh,
when they're
David.
leaving Oh, David Koechner.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
That's it.
David Koechner.
David
I bet people
Koechner.
do that to you all the time. It's really
They all,
not cool.
they're all clearly like douchebags, and they give
It's
these
great.
looks back when they leave.
Well, and then Janie is just like the worst
Janie
person to have a
James.
conversation with.
God, she's so shrill. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a Jane E fan.
No.
She gets the job done, but man, oh man, just,
No, it's just
Unpleasant,
a
I guess.
she is unpleasant. And Bushnell Mullins comes to his aid as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mullins. Because they found the exploded car. And they're
Right.
like, hey, this is your car. But it was with the bodies of all these car thieves, so
Right.
maybe it was stolen?
Sometimes she answers questions in an odd way too. Like it's like, what kind of car was it? Usually you'd say the make and the model.
Yeah.
This comes from someone who doesn't have a driver's license. Even I know that.
Oh, officer,
Like,
this is a piece
but
of
she's
shit
like, oh, it
four-door
was a terrible
sedan.
car. It was always breaking down. It's like, that's not what he asked you, Janie
Yeah.
James.
Or the color, at least.
Right, like,
Like, start with
you
that.
always
You know if
everything's
it's 2-door,
too
4-door,
complicated.
the
Right.
make, the model.
Oh, but this is the scene where when he's walking out, Ike the Spike
Spike.
comes to attack
Yeah.
him and full on just he goes into Agent Cooper FBI
Yeah.
mode and like beats
Squeeze
him
his
down.
hands off.
And then the arm comes,
Yeah.
appears, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, rip his hand off or something.
Yeah.
Because he wants
Squeeze his
anymore?
hand off.
Yeah.
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 And then a
it's
piece
really
of his hand is on the
on
gun.
the gun because he
Yeah.
squeezes his hand so.
Yeah.
And it's a great moment. And then I
Yeah.
like the interviews that they have of the people around the area that are
Yeah.
like,
Well, I also really like
He's a
that. I do
badass.
respect Janie where, like, so Coop takes him down, but then Janie just, like, chokes him
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so
she's like,
many,
I want in on this.
so many movies you see the actress in the background just screaming and
right.
letting the guy
Janie's
get
like,
murdered or something.
oh, she's a, she is
but she
tough.
gets, she is a tough cookie. That's the one thing you could say
So
about Janie.
it's interesting you say
Right?
tough cookie. Tough cookie is how Gordon Cole describes Diane, and I think
That's
it's
right.
also how the one Jesus-looking guy describes Janie when they go
Tough
meet
Dame is
Tough Dame.
Tough day,
Oh,
yeah.
She's a tough dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
but
Yeah.
tough cookie is like exactly the word. Yeah, it's great. And then she like, of course, gets totally turned on by him doing that because
who would
Yeah,
have?
in the interview, she's
come
like,
on.
she was like, I punched and kicked him, and then
Yeah.
he went off.
Yeah, it's so great. Everyone's just
true.
like totally enamored by Dougie all of a sudden, and then he goes right back into his comatose state.
Yeah, he just has to repeat things, and they're like,
Yeah,
oh.
and then
Right.
this is where we actually get the Ben and Beverly scene
Okay.
that we
I-
already talked
I
about.
stopped taking notes after the Ike the Spike. I think because it was the beginning of 8. And I
You get
didn't want-
another Renault brother in the.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
yeah.
but
Bang,
before
bang.
that, Beverly's house. I just wanted to say one more thing about her and her husband. I thought that was a really interesting scene that maybe we'll get nothing more of, but like her husband's very ill.
Yeah.
And she's like kind of pretty horrible to him.
Yeah.
But
He's
then
also kind of a dick.
right, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like I thought it was just an interesting story.
who's the, like,
Yeah,
you
you
know-
seldom see the side of like a family member who has like an ill family member who kind of takes advantage of that. Like you never get that person's point of view, and I thought it was interesting to see
Right.
just like maybe a little bit of like things aren't always what they seem. Like before you judge her for being awful, maybe think that what did he do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And she didn't really do anything wrong. She was maybe flirting with Ben a little bit,
Right.
but like,
But
And
no,
in the most
yeah, you're
sad
right,
way,
yeah.
I think that was what was so sad about that scene is like both of them are just like wanting a connection with someone and they're
Yeah.
getting it
They're
from
both
each.
just lonely.
Yeah,
And
they're
it's
very
just like,
lonely.
oh, I want to.
I didn't really get that much electricity between them as all you guys did, but I
It's
wasn't-
not electricity so much as like just like this, yeah, it's
Comfort.
loneliness and
Yeah.
like companionship and
It's just like they're needing
Enjoyment.
something, and like the other person's just there.
right. And that this device of having the thing in the walls that's like, what's the hum? Do you hear it? And like it's all these like little moments of them in silence together. So it just was a really like beautiful scene. And then you get the reality of her world, and we don't know yet the reality of like what Ben's home life is, but I can imagine not very good. You
I
know.
mean, it wasn't.
And then 7 ends in a weird shot of the Double R.
Double R, yeah.
And,
Just
like-
kind of an ending, yeah.
Yeah, but then like some guy like runs in and is like, "Hey, has anybody seen Bob or something? Bill or
Billy.
something?" Billy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And just run, and they're like, "No," and runs off, and so you just assume that. I guess that's
Oh.
just supposed to be like a
First,
throwaway
there's
scene.
is
Like,
Yeah, I
there
don't know,
there's the
but maybe
sweeping
there's more
scene
to it then.
first, which was really
The sweeping
polarizing.
scene, yeah, the Renault sweeping scene.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like made me angry because it did feel like Lynch being like, I can literally make you watch anything. Watch this.
yeah, skip
Like,
some of that.
Yeah. Like, anyway, sorry. And and then the double R. So, and now that I've seen 8, I feel like this thing of having the extended double R fade out scene was all about like, here's the sweet little bit of nostalgia before
Yeah.
I Dugpas your butt into Fire Walk with Me Hell. You know, like.
I mean, this is 8 is way weirder than and more experimental than Fire Walk with
It's
Me by a
true.
long shot.
Right.
Lynch, I mean, the
Well,
fact that he
yeah.
like got this through, and the network was like, "Yeah, go for it." I mean, it's
It's
so
Showtime.
weird.
Have
They're
you guys
like,
seen
yeah, that's
Eraserhead?
Yeah. It's
Yeah?
very, it's very
Okay.
Eraserhead.
It's
Yeah.
closer to Eraserhead than
Right.
like
Much
anything
closer,
else.
yeah.
I know. I haven't, but now I need to watch all of Lynch's movies so I can
Every
bring them back to this
single-
effing.
I haven't seen Elephant Man. though.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get through Eraserhead without fast forwarding, you win some kind of award.
And doing other things.
Really disturbed. So we good on 7? We ready to
Yeah.
get into the
Yeah.
muck? Let's just take a deep breath and just maybe I should open up another bottle of wine. 8. Part 8. So many things to talk about. So we start out. I do think, like, this is classic Lynch, and it works in every movie. He has it in Mulholland Drive, in oh my god, now I can't remember the other one that I always forget. But
Blue Velvet?
Lost
no, not
Highway?
Lost Highway. This like these shot of like driving on a highway where it's
right,
so
yes.
dark that you only see like the lights in
road.
front of you, and it's like kind of curving. He makes a lot of use of this
Yeah, yeah.
ominous setup, and it is kind of a cool switch 'em up that we totally think, oh, Ray is gonna get killed.
It's true.
We're like,
Because,
oh, Ray's fucked.
yeah. And also, can we also talk about how Evil Coop is weirdly tech savvy? Like,
Yes.
he's like, there's 3 trackers on this car. Luckily, I have this app that will just disable
Right.
them, and I can just throw this out the window. Is that
Yeah.
how technology works?
I don't know. And
I don't
his
know.
text, by the way, was DEGWW8.
Oh.
I was like, that could come back into play. So here's the thing about Part 8
Dugpas.
that I think is like where Lynch
Something.
brings in that transcendental meditation piece. It's because it's all so out there that we can't for sure tie anything to the main plot. We're just like in this overly heightened sense of taking everything in and trying to draw meaning from everything, where it's like it's almost exhausting and overwhelming and
Right.
kind of scary.
Because Ray has something that I think we're going to get into number theory, because Ray has something Evil Coop wants, and he's like, I've memorized the numbers. And
Yes.
and he's holding out for money now.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then
Really smart of Ray, too, to be like, I'm going to memorize the information you want, because
Yeah.
that's the only leverage he has
Right.
on Evil Coop in his
Until
life.
Evil Coop tortures him to get those numbers.
But we don't
Or
know yet,
something.
But
because Ray's going to the
Right.
farm.
He is
Yeah,
going
the
to
farm.
yes,
And
yes.
he's
What the
planning
farm is.
this with Philip Jeffries. I didn't even get that until the
Yeah.
second watch around.
Yeah.
Philip Jeffries?
He calls Philip.
Bowie.
Oh, no
Philip
shit.
Jeffries
So we
is
do know
Bowie,
that
yeah.
Bowie was supposed to be in this. Had he not passed away, he
Oh,
would have
bummer.
been in this.
Yeah.
So I think that that's why like there's a lot of mention of Philip Jeffries, but not any Jeffries scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to just mention that I always watch with subtitles, which kind of gives away that something's coming, because they always say in the subtitles
music.
foreboding. And now
Yes.
it's also foreboding atmospheric music
Right.
is what the like subtitles say.
Yeah.
And then it's like Ray turns down this dark street, and we're like, well, Shit's going down, Ray.
Yeah, it is great that they set it up the whole beginning that's very slow and deliberate and lynchy that like Ray's gonna get fucked. And then he doesn't really.
Ray fucks over Evil
But
Coop.
switch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
it's a
time.
switcheroo.
Evil Coop's gun
The
misfires.
old take a leak trick.
Yeah, who knew?
And,
Right?
it looked like Coop was aiming like at his chest. Like it looked to me like Coop was shooting to kill. But which was interesting because he needs that information still. But you're only seeing Coop, so you can't really tell exactly where he's aiming.
Right.
But that's just a thought that I had. Like it looked to me like he was trying, and
But his chest could have been the arm too.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? You made a good point. That actually, because then later when he calls Philip Jeffries on the road and is like, I told him where we are. If he knows I'm going there, we'll just meet him there. Maybe he is trying to like disable him and then bring him to the farm and like attack him there. I don't know.
So when Ray shoots, because I rewatched this, but I rewatched it on my mobile device, thus it was really dark. Were the coal miner zombies, were they eating him, just playing with his blood?
So here, yeah.
What was going
They
on?
weren't eating him.
Tough to say.
No, I watched.
They were like
And
digging
like Ray
him.
saw
with his
him,
wound.
right?
So,
saw the
yes,
zombies.
he definitely saw them.
Yeah.
So what we have here are a couple of different possibilities. Either Dugpas, coal miner men,
Who were blown up
who
in
were
the
blown up in
original
the atomic bomb.
test.
We've
Maybe.
seen them in a couple. This is not the first time we've seen these characters
Right.
in the
It's just
Lynchiverse.
The first time we're kind of remembering because
But they-
there's just a group of
Right,
them now.
that they all come out in a group. They're dancing around Coop's body. Even in the Fire Stick subtitles, it describes it as like pushing dirt around. or, like,
softly
right.
molding. the
And they
dirt or
seem to
something
be though they're like spreading
Carrying the
blood
dirt.
somehow across
Yeah.
him
across his face from his chest.
from
wounds.
his
Yeah,
like it
maybe.
seems like they're digging
or abdomen
into his
maybe, and then
abdomen.
so
Yeah.
they're digging Bob out.
That's what I think it is.
They're digging Bob
Upon
out.
rewatch.
You see Bob, his face in the egg.
So
Sort of,
then
and
it makes you
disappears.
think then they're not Dugpas because Dugpas we know from Fire Walk with Me are Bob is a Dugpa, like Bob is the evil spirits who thrive
But maybe
on
not.
evil for
Maybe-
evil's sake,
well,
and like
Yeah.
are driven to the Black Lodge. So why would they want to be pulling Bob out of Cooper? Unless it's just to I don't know
To
who
preserve
knows?
him because he was just shot dead.
He was that's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know.
to maybe take him out and
I
then put him
think
back
it's
in.
a little early to be
It's
assigning
just-
meaning to these people's actions. I feel.
Yeah.
It's just so hard.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
we have
hard.
to.
But
our
it's
job.
it's and what does it mean if Bob is driven out of evil Cooper? He's still a doppelganger, so he's still
Yeah,
bad,
I think
but he's not.
doppelgangers.
Yeah, he's still not like a good guy
No.
by any means. So, and
Still
then Ray
pretty
calls
dangerous.
Philip, which is
Yeah.
Philip Jeffries.
Yeah.
So I think Philip
Something that
Jeffries
could
has
be
got to
the
be.
key.
Yeah, unless it's Philip Gerard, the one-armed man.
No, because he
Is
had.
he dead? No.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. He's in the red room.
He's in the red room.
He's
So
been in-
probably Philip Jeffries.
probably
that's what we're
Philip
supposed to
Jeffries.
think.
Yeah.
And then a long 9-inch
Then
nails.
9 Inch Nails. I did put down some lyrics that, and by the way, we have a playlist on Spotify called At the Bang Bang Bar that are all the songs from the Bang Bang Bar, including this one, which is She's Gone Away, 9 Inch Nails. And the lyrics, I can't remember what you came here for. I can't remember much of anything anymore. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone, she's gone away. Which I'm like, that's a little bit makes me think of Laura Palmer. She's gone away. So at least there was that. I think these music scenes at the Bang Bang Bar, there's fans who hate them. I like them. I think they're like palate cleansers, kind of.
I don't mind when they're at the end. I think that's a nice way to end it. When they
Yeah.
put this, I don't know if it's because it was 9-inch Nails
Yeah.
and like
That's
putting
a-
it in the middle
Like
was
in a
just like a
special
little.
appearance.
And then we're like, okay. Cool.
Well, and it definitely breaks up, though, what just happened from, like, now we've literally left the farm. Like, we were on our way to the farm. We are off the planet. Like, we're
Right.
starting something completely different.
By the way, 9 Inch Nails credited as the 9 Inch Nails. Like they're introduced by the guy, which I thought was funny.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
then all of their
He
their
had little
stuff
pine
is
cone
like the
microphone.
lead singer of the 9-inch Nails.
Yeah, and didn't that guy look just like the singer like the guy who was like the Nine Inch Nails. He reminded me of that singer that does the. I know it's not him.
The sycamore trees.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit.
Oh,
like
yeah, the one
I thought he looked a lot like him, and like
Yeah.
he was dressed like him too. I feel
think
like.
he looked like the Sycamore Tree guys. Pat, I'm gonna let you do this.
Okay.
I was like, well, I know what I'm. Yeah,
Take a pause while Pat
felt
opens some wine.
intentional.
I'm just had
Yeah, I'm
to.
sure it was. I mean,
Yeah, the resemblance.
Oh
felt
yeah, I'm
intentional.
sure if they could have had that actor, they would have. But
Yeah.
Jimmy
So-
something was his name, right?
yeah.
you know,
really good.
Pat and I were talking about this with like. We were trying to explain to a non-Twin Peaks fan the significance of this cultural moment with the return of Twin Peaks. And, like, here's the thing. There's a lot of reasons why this is significant, but one of the things that's so crazy is that for so many of these actors, this is their last show. I mean, there have been significant deaths. I'm not, like, meaning to laugh, but, like, there are significant cast members who this was their last
Right.
work.
That's why we like see the same picture of Bob just
Right.
over and over again.
So,
Yeah.
like, it's
Bob
a...
died in 95 or 96, something like that. So.
Right, it's like an artistic
Bob.
thing that
He was-
cannot happen again in the
Right.
same way with the same group of people, and like that is pretty significant in and of itself. And
I know. I was at a 4th of July barbecue, as I was telling Kelly and Pat earlier today, and I mentioned that I was podcasting today, and like one of my friend's husbands was like, "Oh, so like, can I just watch it on Showtime?" I was like, or do I have to like know it before? I was like,
Yeah.
you need to know it. Like, it's really. Watch the 2 seasons, watch the movie, listen to our podcast, and then you can get into the
I mean,
return.
that's what makes it different than anything else on TV. It's not easy at all. Like
No,
you have
it's
to
it's
like
really
we
like,
just watched American Gods on Starz. It was
Yeah.
amazing. We were both big Neil Gaiman fans, read American Gods. I've read it multiple times. But, like, you could have not read American Gods and not know anything about Neil Gaiman and
Oh,
watched
yeah.
that show and gotten a lot of enjoyment out of it. This is like David Lynch is saying, oh no, you have to, like, literally be, like, have an MFA in David Lynch.
like you're gonna
to
have
understand-
to take notes.
Right,
It's
like,
the-
I'm not trying to appeal to everyone, you know?
and because with Twin Peaks, the original series, like what we would do here on the podcast was watch some episodes together, take some notes, and then chat about it. But now it's like we watch it, then we rewatch it, take
Right.
a bunch of notes because like you
Yeah.
need to see
Like,
it like
think
3
about it all
times.
week and like literally have like a I feel like I'm fucking Homeland with like a board with like
Yeah, your Claire Danes off her meds.
and I mean does that make it good or bad? I mean
don't
that
know.
could make it bad that you have to be that obsessed, or it could make it special that you have to be that obsessed. Like, so we ran into this bartender at Hopleaf that, like, I don't remember what other nerdy thing we were talking about. Oh, he had, like, a Link
Zelda
Zelda
shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
And something about that t-shirt and just the other, I was like, do you like
No.
Twin Peaks? And he was just, it was like Christmas morning.
Oh my
Like, he was
God,
like,
yes, I
I've
know
been
when to
waiting
talk
to
to
talk to someone
about
about this. And we just, like, were launching into number theory and all this stuff and, like, Dugpas and coal miners. And, you know, the people around us are looking at us like we're crazy, but you suddenly have this connection of this thing that you've poured your time and energy into. And that's what a fandom is. So, I don't know, it's special in that way. We've digressed, but...
And it's great that anytime a number appears on screen, like I have a separate
Oh my
number
God,
list.
I know.
Where it's like, all right, well, does 7/6/45 mean anything?
Like today, I was literally I was getting crabby with Pat because I'm like, pause. I have to do more fucking research. I'm like, ugh.
This damn atomic
I'm like,
bomb is really
so yeah.
gotta figure it out.
So my dad, big history buff, he would have right away known exactly what this date meant, and I feel terrible that I had to Google it, but
Yeah, I did know.
July
he
16th, 1945, White Sands, New Mexico, was the Trinity Code test of the atomic bomb.
Yeah,
which,
I didn't know that either.
I gathered. I couldn't have told you the date before, but as soon as they put like New Mexico 1945, I'm like, okay, this is a bomb test.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Which
before the bomb,
Right.
before the countdown or anything.
yeah.
I mean, the significance of the Trinity test is it's like the first detonation of a nuclear weapon ever. So this was a significant moment, and I think what we're getting at with much stuff in this episode is that this moment of kind of a step
Chaos.
forward in pure evil, it tears a rift in the like White Lodge, Black Lodge spirits kind of world that brings up these Dugpas, these energies, these portals where things are a little bit more transient. That's kind of my take.
Good point.
Yeah.
I think
But-
you're right.
It's like,
It tears a rift in
and the music.
fabric of reality or something.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the music, like, God, love the fire stick. I could totally be there.
Penderecki.
Is the something about here?
spokesperson or a sponsorship
Like,
opportunity.
Threnody.
Fire stick.
Or
Threnody
Homer's
for the
dead.
victims of Hiroshima.
Yeah, it's the victims of Hiroshima is the music playing.
Oh, wow.
So they really are like saying like this is, and I think just the palette cleanse of Nine Inch Nails setting apart the tone.
Yeah.
They're really like,
Because this was really hard to watch twice. Like,
Yes.
this scene was hard for me to be engaged twice.
and we were kind
it
of
was like,
messaging each
alright.
other back and forth when we were watching it, me and Melissa. And I can't imagine also, by the way, that you were also like very wittily tweeting. I don't know how you were doing three things at once. You're
I'm
amazing.
a multitasker.
You are.
It's really easy, especially on the internet.
It just this scene to me. So okay, so I did like kind of a train of the way this scene goes. And where I think it takes us. So at first it's just like these explosions. So we're just
Yeah.
seeing the big picture and it's particles and it's very like granular. And then we get into flames and it's more colorful. And that's the first time then we see the like derelict convenience
Then we go to
store
the convenience
Yeah.
store, yeah.
with there's 3 light bulbs also. Did you catch that?
No, I did not.
3 light bulbs, 3 is really big number theory here. 3 flashing lights and these coal miner, Dugpa, homeless people, whatever,
Going in
are
and
kind
Homeless
of
zombies.
homeless zombies with that coming in and out. And
Because I was like, ugh, this is like an art house film. Are these zombies being created
I mean-
by the bomb? Like, what happened? Did they, like, come over?
and I was
Why are
trying
they
to
so
see if there
dirty?
was a source that they were coming from, and it was
Yeah.
very hard to
Well,
tell.
we do see a source of where Bob came from and some
Right.
figure,
Right,
some
which is a
otherworldly figure.
creature.
Which I
is
was
the
that's
thinking.
just
creature
like out of
puking.
nowhere. The creature's puking these bubbles.
Yeah.
But I thought it was the same creature as in the black box in the beginning of the return.
Yeah, it
Certainly
looked like
bears
quite a
a
bit.
strong
Yeah.
resemblance
Where-
because it's a white.
A
4th of
white-
July, guys. I don't know if you're hearing this, but yeah,
There's
it's like a
so many
white,
fireworks.
white alien-like figure that's kind of
Yeah.
godlike, very
Right.
similar to the one we see spewing out these bubbles.
That eats the kids, yeah.
And the bubble that's Bob does to me look black, and the others look white.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they look like
Okay.
weird eggs, right?
Weird
Right.
eggs, yes.
So is this are we saying the atomic bomb is also the creation of the Dugpas? Like this rift in the realities creates these creatures of pure evil that thrive on evil. I'm Wyndham Earl, guys. Oh my God. This is terrible.
Oh, the Bookhouse Boys just went weird.
No. Like this is the tape you're gonna play later after I go crazy to be like, this was her precursor to going crazy.
He's booked a flight to.
Yeah. I'm like sending you guys chess moves, and you're like, not again. Jeez. Yeah, but I mean it does kind of make sense, though, right?
No,
like,
it does.
Yeah.
It's the creation of the Dugpas,
Then because we see that, and then it goes back into the explosion,
right?
and then that's where we get the purple waves
The
and the
purple-
castle in the clouds is how I like to call it.
Yes.
And so Mike is a Dugpa who came from there, possibly, and
right.
became good.
Well,
Which
and
is
so the
interesting.
purple waves and the castle and the like fortress. This, listeners, we see for the first time with episode part 3. Is it with NATO? The not Josie, who is.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
I think it's part 3 that starts out with Cooper standing, and it's just looks like
Oh,
he's
right,
like at
yeah.
a building that's
Yeah.
purple. And so I love this because it shows us how you are only getting such a small piece of the big picture. Because when we saw episode 3, we thought
I mean, that
Cooper
ocean
was
is
just like in a building like looking out
Right.
at like an ocean.
That ocean is
and then it
just,
like pulls back to a citadel
Yeah.
and like a tower, and it's like so much bigger than
It's
we
just-
knew.
Is that the
It's
one
an
that he couldn't
incredible
get in,
scene,
or
like-
he did get in? That's the one with the
He
Josie.
did get in. That's the one with the
Yeah.
Josie. I think
wannabe.
it's the same citadel because it's like
It looks
kind of a
pretty
place
similar.
of like the good transitional people, like the people who could be good or bad.
They're like an in-betweeners.
Right, because like the giant we know is not a Dugpa. He could be good.
Well,
I think
because-
he's. I think he's
He is
good.
good.
I think
He's
it's
definitely
pretty
good.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's this explosion and this, we'll say it's the
Alarm.
evilness coming into the world, which is
Yeah.
causing this alarm, and then he goes into his weird meditative state where I feel like he's trying to put goodness in the world. Is what I was like.
When
I
like the
did,
gold stuff is flying out
Yeah.
of his head.
He.
Which I thought was him. I thought this was the
gold
death
stuff
of the
and-
giant. I thought this was his spirit. So we get.
I don't think.
Let's
I
back
don't
up.
know,
I
don't
feel
know.
like this is still 1945.
Yeah.
so
Oh, maybe yeah.
because of the clothing,
Interesting.
the great jewelry on
Senorita
Dido. Yeah.
Played by an old
Senora?
classmate of mine from USC.
Yeah,
Congrats on
and-
the part, Joy.
And may I say, just an awesome job she does. I think she's beautiful and very compelling looking. And I loved the first shot of her in the Citadel.
Just listen to
Just-
the record player.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
the old
we.
gramophone.
Yeah.
Old timey gramophone.
Which Pat noticed there was also one of the like
bell-shaped.
bell-shaped portal
Yes.
things that
I saw that too.
NATO
Turned the lever
turns to
on.
change it from 15 to 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's such complicated stuff. It's crazy. And it's interesting. No one says that this is the giant's wife, but all of us have thought like she's the giant's wife and
Yeah.
called her the giant's wife, like independent. And the bartender guy we were talking to was like, "Oh, the giant's wife." Like, no one says that. There's nothing about their interactions that necessarily says that, but that's just sort of the sense
Yeah.
you get that they are in a
But they're living
relationship.
together.
Did not
Yes.
get that.
you?
No.
They
Then
seem
why
to
would
be-
that lady be there?
Why? Why? It's David Lynch. Who knows why anything is happening? But
She's such an interesting character. Like, I love the way she looks at him. I think she just gets a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, so the bell's
Yeah,
ringing.
Striking.
The set
so
with that, like,
striking.
old-fashioned theater that has the bell and the screen where we see
movie
the
screen
still
replaying
of
the
Bob.
glass. Yeah.
And the giant enters, and he kind of starts floating up, and the yellow starts shooting out of his head.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful, positive scene, weirdly. I feel like it's a very
Because
good,
it makes,
happy...
swirl
it makes
of
the lady
gold.
happy to see him like that.
Yes.
Because if you notice, like, she's smiling up at him kind of lovingly. Mm-hmm. And then...
out of
release-
his golden shower.
An orb. A golden. Oh.
I'm sorry. That was bad. But there's no other way to do it. Out of his golden shower comes a little golden bubble that drifts down to the giant's wife, or Dido.
An orb, I would say.
And it's
Oh,
a
an orb is a
beautiful
bit- an orb
picture
is a
of
bit.
Laura Palmer on prom.
Her prom
Yeah,
picture.
this is what bothers
The
me.
only picture we've ever seen
Yeah.
of Laura Palmer.
Like, wouldn't it just be like maybe Laura Palmer like in action?
yeah, just
But
like any still shot of her
Instead
from the show.
of this one picture that she took probably like 6 months before
Right.
she's murdered, but it's the only picture that anyone has of her.
You know, and what's weird too
including
is
the past.
Senora Dido like sends it to the world, and you see it go to like the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like
come
an old.
out, wherever you are.
It's like a
it's just, like,
1940s,
so,
50s, movie. Where,
like, so weirdly like optimistic, like Laura Palmer's gonna save the world.
Or
some
I
Wizard
feel
of Oz type shit, right?
That's what
My-
I was saying.
yeah.
First it flies through like a giant clarinet
tuning
or
thing.
saxophone looking thing, and
I thought it was
Something
another gramophone. Like they're in a big gramophone,
it had,
but they're also
but also
playing
had,
a gramophone.
it had holes, which made me think of like a wind instrument.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I noticed. That. I mean, it could have. Who knows?
But it also did look like a gramophone, like
In the
Yeah.
gramophone
speaker
of
arm.
life, we're all just blowing through the blow
Right.
parts.
In your golden shower.
It's a golden shower.
You can buy Kelly's book of little sayings for $5. We're all going.
So the
blowing
Chime has
through
a
the
golden
book.
shower that leads to.
To a bubble.
Definitely, if you haven't watched this episode, shouldn't be listening to this podcast. I just want to throw that out there.
Because I feel like the whole Laura Palmer orb is like, this person is going to lead to maybe the destruction
Right.
of, like, all of this evilness.
It's your classic what
But
came
it's
first,
also
the
like,
chicken or the egg story.
hey, you're totally damned. BT dubs.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, here's
So-
my damn bubble. Bye.
We've
So-
sent you to
Totally
distract
gonna
Bob
Right.
for a little while.
Oh,
So just so this episode has
But not
potentially
for, like,
shown us the origin of
40 years
Bob, the
later.
origin of the Dugpas, the origin of Laura, and potentially the origin of Sarah Palmer's powers, which starts
Oh, yeah.
out with we get a flash to
1956.
1956. It starts on
August
1945 and ticks up. And I
Yes.
It was
looked a
August 5th.
bunch of like significant things that happen on this date. Significant thing. There's really not that much significant about this date. 1956, August 5th.
Now there is.
That's why I just put 8-5, because what does 8-5 mean? 5-6? I don't know. You don't know.
What? We're in the New Mexican desert, and a shell cracks, and an alien frog creature comes out of the shell.
I like to say
Alien
bug
frog.
Yeah.
It has
Bug frog,
I mean,
yeah.
like
Insect
clearly.
frog, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really
so-
gross. I had to look away.
Again, making me think this rift between time and space also could coincide with like this Blue Rose X-Files thing. So there's aliens of some kind. So we get like this story of the frog creature and where is he gonna go? And then they cut to this like black and white scene of a young boy and girl.
Coming from the convenience store, though.
Right, coming from the convenience store.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Very
Story.
50s, sweet.
Yeah.
She's like, I found a good luck penny, and it's heads up, and you're like, oh god, this girl's gonna die. And then the
No. Just gonna
woodsman
eat a
floats
frog
down. So the
insect.
woodsman, interesting in Twin Peaks lore, this is a character that we actually have seen before, right? In Fire Walk With Me.
Well, we thought that was actually the log lady's husband, didn't we?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So this could be like the log lady's husband.
Or-
Is he the guy
Okay.
asking for a
someone,
light?
yeah, the
Okay.
guy on the light. So
Satellite.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
you're getting these spirits floating down, but now they're getting like. What's interesting to me is that the spirits that we see in the beginning of the episodes are not able to do anything to Ray. They're only able to do something to Evil Cooper, who's got Bob
Right.
within him. So it sort of means to me that there's like rules. Like
Yeah.
if you're within this Black Lodge, White Lodge, Dugpa world, we can fuck with you. If you're normal, we can scare you, but we can't really do anything to you because
Right.
Ray is like fine. But here in 56, they're able to like murder people. And in the
Yeah,
same way that
right,
Coop
right.
does when Evil Coop,
Yeah.
when he just like does the brain squeezes where he squeezes your head and kills you. So it's sort of saying to me possibly that their powers decrease in the future.
When did
Like
Evil
they had
Coop
more
kill a guy
powers.
like that?
Jack, who was the cohort of Ray and Daria in episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he squeezed his face. Yeah,
He like squeezes his
that's right.
face.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like, so I think there's something that they're saying here potentially that is like their powers have decreased. Where like in this time in 56 that was
They were
closer to
very
45,
Yeah.
and the atomic bomb, like they're strong and they're able to like really affect people. And
Yeah.
like in the modern time, they need
Right.
vehicles to like glom onto, a la Bob.
Could be.
But I could be totally wrong.
Right.
So we see this young girl and this boy, and they're walking, and it's cute.
Yeah, and then we cut to
You're like, oh, you're so
the
fucked.
woodsman stopping the car, and I tweeted this, but it's
so
like
scary.
in the modern day, you don't stop for that kind of person anymore. Like you
No, you
shake
don't.
your head, like
Even him-
whatever you have. No,
It's
I
just-
noticed he had his door open too.
Yeah.
yeah, like who's
I was
gonna go
like,
up?
what are you doing with the door
No,
open?
modern
Different time.
So scary.
Every time I exit the highway, there is several homeless people who come up to your window and like shake their cup in front of you, and you just have to not make eye contact and shake your head.
And
like,
the most disturbing
nope.
part of that scene is how like the wife's screams get all slowed
Oh
down.
my god!
Like,
And it's
Yeah,
they use the
that's
same
cool.
animal
That's
noises
cool.
that they use when Maddie gets killed by Bob. The
Ooh.
like same type of animalistic. So they're definitely drawing conclusions. I think this episode 8, could be called like the origin of the Dugpas, and it's really about the creation of these beings of evil.
Could be,
But the
yeah.
woodsman and his tie to the log lady, I'm not quite sure, and I want to get more into that. I love too that the song they play during this killing spree is "My Prayers" by the Platters, which is a 50s doo-wop song, very appropriately sweet and odd. There's something about doo-wop music that to me can really set the scene for like an X-Files murder or a Twin Peaks murder.
Well, that song has been used, I think, in like a Fallout game or a commercial for a Fallout
Yes.
game.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's,
Yeah,
like,
I see what you... Yeah,
like it's been used a
definitely
lot
aware.
since then for like
Oh my god, yeah.
creepiness and sort of otherworldliness.
Interesting.
In college, I did a production of Oedipus Rex, and I made the opening song "I Only Have Eyes for You" by the Flamingos, and like it's doo-wop, and it's also like I only have
I got
eyes
it.
for you.
I got it.
So heavy-handed, but like doo-wop can just create this creepy. I don't know. There's something about the
Yeah.
music that can feel like nostalgic and odd.
It's true.
Also, Melissa, I want to let you totally share this egg of potential crossover with Pop's Diner. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
you totally got it.
Well, no, I follow Shelly on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And that's why. So Pop's Diner is also in Riverdale, which the actress that I can't pronounce her name. So
Madgekin Amick.
yes, she.
Imagine.
So
She's in Riverdale.
so she's Shelly in the
is
show.
the Archie comic
Yeah, yeah.
redo, which
she's in
I
that.
watched almost the full first season of it. It's
I've
pretty
watched all the
amazing.
first.
It's Melissa and I were like, we're gonna binge this.
And then it was like work from home. What? I'm just gonna
Thank
watch
you.
all of this.
So good.
And that's why I was like texting you. I was like, "Did you watch all of this? Because I got some news on that too."
I'm not quite totally there. I'm like 3 episodes behind. So
So
no
once
spoilers.
you get
But Pop's Diner is the diner in it.
in it, yeah. So they think that. I mean,
So wait, there's a connection between Twin Peaks
And Riverdale, I think.
the same diners in the two?
because the diner, the Pop's Diner, that it shows. So it shows a mechanic, and then it shows a diner, and then it shows the
Which
little girl.
honestly could just be David Lynch being like, I love Madgekin so
Right.
much. And like,
So all
here's
those,
this
those
little...
three...
Or
Those,
there's, yeah.
those
Like, he loves her.
So
I mean, he
they
loves
show
her.
Okay.
these 3 people
Yeah.
listening to the radio while this all is happening at the station.
And they fall asleep, right?
KPJK.
Right, I wrote that down
yeah.
too. I was like, what is KPJK?
And that's when the music stops and
the woodsman's curse comes
yeah,
on.
this is the water and this is the well, drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within.
Beautiful.
And then-
beautifully read.
I was like, I
People
don't want
dropped
to say
dead.
it because I feel like I'll get killed.
I
I
tweeted this and someone was like, thanks for
Candyman is
killing a
coming
bunch
out
of
Really,
now.
people.
I'm like really.
And I was like, oh no, only if people say it out loud. Like,
so there's the
So
horse.
let's unpack
There's the
this.
horse
The horse,
reference.
yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
and someone commented,
People always pass out when that damn white horse appears.
right, so
Right.
like,
Mostly Sarah Palmer though. So this is
so that's why we think that this
We
little
all
girl's
think the little girl's
Sarah
Sarah
Palmer because she sees a white horse every time Bob's around.
And
And-
this alien comes into her, like the little frog alien
Yeah.
goes into her
goes
mouth.
into her mouth,
Yeah.
and so I think
And
that
like it it must like be able to like control her to make her open her mouth because like
Right,
she like opens her mouth
yeah.
like weirdly wide like
Yeah.
it would never do while you were sleeping.
I mean, the way it's a
Interesting.
classic Lynch thing because she's like literally 50s perfect with like bobby socks in like a little girl's
And
room.
so many petticoats. I was really impressed by
and
that.
just like falls asleep like a Disney princess and like this like creature. So it just
Coaxes
makes
her
you
mouth
think like,
open.
well, wait a second. So here we're saying that
Well, she
Sarah
doesn't
Palmer.
fall asleep. She goes to change the channel and then she
Right.
stops herself and just lays down
Yes.
like a Disney princess.
So okay, I just want to go into like some weird theory territory here and just like suss it out.
You know.
Oh.
So if we're saying from this episode that there's a possibility that Sarah Palmer is being controlled by some sort of what do you call it? Parasite. There you go. Alien, at the very least, parasite, alien, some sort of other
Right.
being that gives her some sort of powers, whatever. We're saying that Bob was created by the atomic bomb and a rift in two worlds, and that Bob was controlling Leland, but Laura was sent to the world by
Here's
the
thing, though. I'm
giant.
thinking though this little creature abomination could have been what the giant sent to the world, and that's gonna.
To protect.
Oh, I didn't get. I'm guessing that's not the case. Just because the giant does like good stuff, and this thing looks pretty evil.
Well,
but I
that's
don't know.
why-
It looks
think
evil,
that-
but well, I don't know.
They send Laura Palmer out into the world and all they have is the mom. So then
Yeah.
something with the mom has to... I feel like Laura Palmer is like the end all of everything.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're going to stop Bob by starting with this
Right,
damn
and that's
girl.
why Bob wanted Laura so much, and he wanted to like be her or kill her, and so she died so that he wouldn't take her over.
Yeah.
So like
Right.
you're sort of, I'm interested to see what this alien force is because
Yeah.
one would think if we're saying Bob is like the complete force of evil, then and a lot of Sarah Palmer's premonitions, had she followed them and like actually gone with them, would have saved Laura.
That's
that
true.
like this little alien creature is actually some sort of force of good trying to help Sarah to save Laura.
Yeah.
It's interesting how like
But I felt like the eggs were also in the blob stuff that with Bob. There was like
Right.
little eggs, and then we see one hatch into this weird frog thing.
right.
So, like,
It's like is Sarah and Leland both taken over by Dugpas?
Like,
It's
and
ambiguous,
Laura was
I
just
think.
always fucked.
And
Like,
why does the fate of the world hinge on the Palmer family? Like, why? You know, I think
and
that's
the one picture of Laura Palmer.
right.
that
And why
everyone
don't
has.
they take more pictures of her? And where's Donna, by the way? Doc Hayward does mention grandkids, I think, in his Skype conversation. I was like, oh, okay, so Donna had kids.
Oh, because that's how he.
Oh, he did.
That's how he knows Skype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
of the grandkids.
So it's a really strangely, I feel like it's gonna pay off that we get this weird thing of like
But you
7
know-
just gives you so many things and then 8 just gives you
And
questions.
9's just gonna not deal with any of this shit.
I know,
Yeah.
completely
It's gonna be
different.
something completely
Mine's
like-
gonna be Dougie all the time, more Dougie, just like you've seen him for 20 episodes.
No, I can't. No.
Good
Yeah,
possibility.
that's, then maybe Tammy just bad acting.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Gordon and Albert have to know now that Bad Coop has escaped.
Yeah.
But-
Right,
but
right, yeah,
I
right.
can't say that because
Well-
we don't know. We don't know what episode 9 will bring because
Hopefully it will
It is
bring
a
me
clusterfuck.
fucking Audrey. God, David Lynch, you don't know me, but I'm your most loyal and steadfast and true fan, and I have been with you, and I have been supportive, and all I want is Audrey in the next episode. Like, come on, just do it. Anyway,
it's true. We have so many because he set up so many little storylines where he's only given us little
I know.
hints where it's like
If Jerry gets more time than Audrey, so help me. Like,
I mean, he might because maybe he's just more into it too.
I know.
But like, we still had to find out what's going on in Vegas, what's going on in Buenos Aires.
so many
things.
questions. It's like
So
many
like, there's
questions.
still
so many
so many
questions.
episodes that are just
one
going to be
step
like,
forward, 2 steps back.
I know. I was so excited with episode 7. Like, I was texting
Yes.
Kelly, like, this is amazing.
This is happening. It's
and then
happening
8
again.
came, and I was like, what is this?
I'm glad we were like messaging each other because I was gonna be like in the fetal position, rocking myself to sleep. Otherwise, stay with us, guys. We're gonna take you through the dark tunnels and into the light of the White Lodge one of these days. Meanwhile.